typically on these flies, we're looking to see like the body color coming through the dubbing that we're going to put on there. This one is called a March Brown. I'm not sure that it makes a difference what color thread you're using, but yeah, as a matter of fact, I'll just do it with the red thread here. It's not going to make that much difference. Now, I'll go back to the yellow. I think it'll show through a little bit more. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a ways back behind the eye. Start it with a jam knot, and then cut that off. All right. I'm going to go all the way to the bend of the hook, right back down here, just about to where the barb is, and I'm going to take a couple of feathers from, or a couple of fibers from a mallard flank. Actually, I like the look of the feathers from the partridge better. So what I'm going to do, because I think it's got a little bit better marking on the tips, I'm going to take the biggest one that I can find, like this. I'm going to strip off the soft tackle portion of it, just like this. And you see these long fibers right here? I'm going to take about 3 or 4 of those. Just kind of peel them off the side, like that. And I'm going to let them stick off the back. Now these are really long because what they're supposed to imitate is antenna coming off of the back of a caddis pupa. But this is a mayfly imitation. I don't understand that too much, but
well, the March Brown.
It's a March Brown mayfly.
Quite long tail fibers.
Yep. So I trap it down, wrap it backwards a little bit, and then I will put a wrap under the tail to kick it up a little bit. And then I'll work forwards. At this point, I'm going to take, I tried it with flat tinsel, and it didn't work so well. It covered up too much of the body. So I'm going to use silver oval tinsel. Silver oval tinsel.
Yep.
Just a short section of that.
Where would you use this bug?
In the rivers.
You're on West Coast, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking it's like a Michigan type critter.
No, the March Brown. I wouldn't have you guys tying it if you couldn't use it out here. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
It actually works better. I'm thinking you could use it in lakes for like calabatus.
Oh, okay.
You can use it
Cool.
in the rivers. We do have March Browns coming off at the
Maybe
Yuba.
Manzanita this weekend?
Yes.
Would you think?
This probably more so than the partridge and orange.
Very cool.
But I'm thinking that the March Browns on the Yuba, they come off probably not in March, usually April, maybe May sometime. But generally speaking, the March Browns come off, and you can use these in a little bit larger size when those come off, a size 12 or something like that. But I still find that the size 14 works better almost universally everywhere around. At this point in time, now that I have that tied in, I tie in some number 4.
Good job.
Number 4 hairs here.
Alrighty. You know what I'm saying.
Okay.
People
And this,
may not know.
if you look at this, it's sort of a light tannish color, but it's tied. It's called hare's ear, and if you actually scrape the fibers off of a hare's ear, it's going to be a lot darker than this. And I like the stuff that has a little bit more of the guard hairs put in with it. Okay, so that it leaves it a little bit more spiky, yeah, buggy. I'll spin the dubbing on there.
See how he's doing that in the direction.
Just take a little bit, just take a tiny bit, push it up against the thread, and spin it on there.
Take one of these.
If you think you have too much, you do.
For what he's doing right now.
Oh.
He took some long ones
There,
out.
yeah, I'm gonna use this.
Okay,
There should be enough for 3 or 4 of us there.
On there?
Yeah, for the tail.
and I want to put on enough that it'll give me a relatively bulky body. I'll start at the back end, work my way forwards.
Big chunk.
Yeah, so you don't have to get it right the first time as far as.
No.
You don't want
You
to
can
put
always
too
add-
much on there because it's a little more difficult to get off.
I'll just use some of these. He's got-
Adding is better than subtracting.
Makes sense there, okay?
Yep, you can't put,
It's
you can
harder.
always add salt, but you can't take it out.
We're not cooking.
Well, that's the vernacular, but you call it this.
Okay. Finish dubbing it. Now I want to leave about 2 hook eye spaces to the dubbing. All right. Don't get it too close because you're going to add a wing to this also. All right. Now, one thing about the ribbing, if you don't want it to show very much, you rivet the same way that you put on, that you wrap the dubbing. If you want it to show more, go opposite or counter the way that you ribbed it, or that you put the dubbing on. If you go counter, then the ribbing shows through a little bit more.
Because it actually sits on top of all your dubbing as opposed to dropping in between each twist.
Okay? Oops. What happened there? Twisted. You put the hackle on this one, the same as you did the last one. You're going to have to get the hackle just a little bit longer because this is a little longer hook. Okay. And this one I'm going to put in by the tip because the feather fibers on this one's a little on the short side. So I'm going to prepare it again. I'm going to pull it out just like that. You see that? I want to get them both about the same. Like that. Pull this back and clip off the tip section here so that there's still a little V showing. Just a little tiny one. All right. The wax is usually what holds it in place. Okay.
Is this a lost cause?
Grab it and then fold the hackle back.
Just take it off.
Can you see it? Can you see it folded? Fold the hackle back
Oh, yeah.
and then take your first turn. When it comes back up, wrap it again and then put it right in front of that last wrap. And you only want 2 wraps on that. You don't want to overdress the fly. Okay. Stroke back the air fibers and then trap them down. Now you've got about 1.5 spaces behind the hook eye. You're going to take a little bit of this turkey tail, and what you're looking for on a to be able to wing it fairly nice is that the tips stick together fairly well at that one area. That's called marrying the fibers together on that. Only this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a section that's about twice the width of the size of the wing that I want, which is about, I don't know, 1/4 to 5/16 of an inch, I guess, like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out so that the tips are fairly flat. You can see that the tips are fairly flat instead of being slanted over to the edge like this.
You mean straight?
Yep.
Straightening.
Straight.
Straightening.
I'm straightening the feather out, okay,
Oh, there you go.
like that,
Angle.
like that,
Change the
all right?
Yeah.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off at the base. Once I have it flat at the tip like that, cut it off at the base. Then I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to fold it in half.
Instead
At
of
the
taking
base.
2 pieces of feather.
Instead of taking
just
2
one.
pieces, I'm just going to use one.
Yep.
And I'm going to fold it in half like that. All right?
You can use peacock too.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure it from about the tie-in point to right about at the back of the bend. Then I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to pinch it right there, just over the tie-in point. I'm going to take the thread, pull it up between my fingers and hold it there. I'm going to come back down onto the opposite side of the hook. I'm going to pull it down while I'm pinching on it, and as soon as I see it move, I'm going to pull down, okay? And what that does is it centers the wing right on top of the hook shank, all right? Take a couple of turns forwards while holding it.
Don't turn backwards.
Yeah, if you go backwards over the wing, you're going to cant the wing over to the side, all right?
Only wrap towards the eye.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull out half of the butts like this, and I'm going to trim it off in pieces. It's easier to trim it off a little at a time than it is to trim the whole thing off at once. You get a neater cut. Okay. Once you get that done, take your thread and cover up the head. And then whip finish it. Do a double whip finish. And that's it.